Are we live? All right, we're live. What up, YouTube Live? How's it going? This is yours truly, Rama Screen, covering movies, TV, and entertainment. Mm. Right now it's midnight, um, just past December 30th, I suppose. I know many of you guys are asleep right now, so you're probably going to be watching this when you wake up in the morning, but I don't want to wait till the morning to actually speak about this because in the morning, I'll be busy working. And once I'm gone working, there's no turning back. I'll be too busy by then. So this is as good a time as any to talk about this, and because it's still fresh. I believe it just hit the news. Yeah, this past 24 hours. So spoiler alert. All right, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, you might want to go earmuffs because this has to do with both Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker and Star Wars The Last Jedi. All right, spoiler alert. You've been warned. Okay, I got a lot to say about this, so let's dive right into it. Um those of you guys who have seen the movie Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, you may have noticed something. Of all the things that you probably saw, obviously, but you may have noticed that actress Kelly Marie Tran, who plays Rose Tico, her role was barely there. Like her role got reduced to insignificant amount. And I'm being nice. If I were to be politically incorrect about it, she pretty much got benched. Okay, she got benched. She got sidelined. Her character did not do jack. She did not show up enough in the movie. You get the picture. And so, ever since the movie arrived, there had been backlash from the fans. Hey, Robert, you're still awake, brother. I thought you're gonna watch this in the morning, but glad of you to join us. So there's been backlash from people like, "Wait, what's going on?" Especially from the Asian community. I'm Asian, so a lot of people from my community are very proud of Kelly Marie Tran when she got cast in The Last Jedi, um, as Rose Tico. All right. So in Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, her role got reduced to almost nothing, nothing at all. So people, the fans, not just mostly from the Asian community, but fans of Star Wars in general, they are angry at this aspect of the movie. Like, how dare you sideline Kelly Marie Tran? So that's what's been going on since the movie arrived last week. So now the update, I'm going to read it to you. So Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker was co-written by J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. Chris Terrio is a fantastic screenwriter. I think she won. I'm sorry. I think he won Oscar for, I want to say, Argo. Um. Anyway, so this is what Chris Terrio said. Chris Terrio did an interview with Awards Daily, and he revealed, because and he's trying to do some damage control, if you will, and he explained in this quote why he and J.J. Abrams ultimately had to sideline uh, Kelly Marie Tran. And here's the quote. Let me read it to you. Quote, well, first of all, JJ and I adore Kelly Marie Tran. One of the reasons that Rose, Kelly's character, has a few less scenes than we would like her to have has to do with the difficulty of using Carrie's footage in the way we wanted to. We wanted Rose to be the anchor at the rebel base who was with Leia. We thought we could not leave Leia at the base without any of the principals who we love. So Leia and Rose were working together. So pause. Do you get that? So basically, what he's saying is that, well, JJ and I had this plan when we map out, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, the final installment, that we were gonna have Leia and Rose share a lot of scenes together. As you know, Leia is played by the late great Carrie Fisher, who passed away in 2016. So for this movie, what they did is they used previously unused footage of Carrie Fisher as Leia Organa. Instead of going like digital CG, using another actor, they just used previously unused footage. So that's what their plan. That they said that they were gonna have Rose spend time with Leia. So let me continue here. The quote: As the process evolved, a few scenes we had written with Rose and Leia turned out to not meet the standard of photorealism that we had hoped for. Pause. What he's trying to say is that if you've seen the movie, right? Spoiler alert. There were scenes, many of scenes that Leia was in. But that's why I call. No offense to Leia fans out there, but I call Leia here in Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker fortune cookie Leia. All right, she only showed up in this movie to give fortune cookie words of wisdom, many of which were directed at Rey. So she actually ended up spending a lot of time with Rey. Like, oh, you can do it. The Force is with you. What else does he say? Nothing is impossible. See, fortune cookie, Leia. But that's all they could do because those are the previous unused footage of Carrie Fisher. It's not like they could have Carrie Fisher produce new, longer lines. Um, so they blend that scene CG photorealistically with Ray and with the surroundings, with Greg Grunberg and who else? That guy from Lost. Dominic Monaghan, I believe. Yeah, I forgot his name, but anyway. So that's the technology that they use. And you know what? The result, it looks actually pretty cool, in my opinion. It blended really well. You couldn't really tell the different. Tell It's not like you could tell one apart from the other kind of thing. Um, so let me continue again. His quote here. Quote: Those scenes unfortunately fell out of the film, he said. The last thing we were doing was deliberately trying to sideline Rose. We adore the character and we adore Kelly, so much so that we anchored her with our favorite person in the galaxy, General Leia. Um, Robert says Carrie was a force coach. That's right. Baba Freak had more screen time than Kelly. That's right. What's up with that, right? So, but yeah. Uh, but here are my thoughts about this controversy. So I just gave you the quote there by screenwriter Chris Terrio. He said, "Hey, JJ and I were gonna have Rose and Leia spend time together, share screen time together a lot, but the photorealism, the whole technology thing, trying to make the scene work with the footage, with old footage of Leia, it just ultimately just we could not make it work. So we basically what he's saying is like we never had the intention from the beginning to sideline Leia, but it just turned out that way, unfortunately. So that's the damage control here that Chris Terrio wanted to say with his explanation. Now, I even as n- naturally you would probably expect that because I'm Asian that I would have to just be triggered and angry, like, oh my god, racist, 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 what are you doing? You suck, Star Wars, you know. But I, you know what? I gotta think of this objectively. Um, Kind of like when, do you remember when Fresh Off the Boat got canceled? Right? I think the news, what a couple of months ago, and I mentioned to you guys, I did a live stream opinion about it as well. I mentioned to you guys that I was not infuriated by Fresh Off the Boat getting canceled because, as much as I loved Fresh Off the Boat, I also understood that the show had run its course. Yeah, you can blame it on Constance Wu not wanting to do the show anymore. She wanted to be this big shot movie star. Yeah. That's one aspect. It's not the entire aspect though. If you follow the show regularly, you watch the episodes, even the especially the episodes in this current season, you would know that the quality of the comedy has gone downhill. It just wasn't as funny anymore. It hasn't been as funny as the first three seasons, if you will. So what I said to you, you gotta see this objectively. Like, yes, I'm proud that there's this show that puts Asian American family as the leads, and it tackles Asian American stories. It's fantastic. But after 6 seasons, it had run its course. What else can you do? Like every year, they just have another Chinese New Year episode again. They just have another Christmas episode again. It's done. It's already done. It has its cycle, and I think the writers had run out of ideas. Let alone jokes. As I said, the comedy had gone downhill. So objectively, as much as I'm as proud as I am, or as proud as I was, or have been, at Kelly Marie Tran being an Asian representative in the Star Wars universe, the lead, right? Not some background actor Asian, you know what I'm saying? Not some extra, but the lead. As proud as I am about that, I also have to admit, at least from my perspective, I don't know about you guys, from my perspective, when I watched The Last Jedi in 2017, throughout the whole arc, the storyline of her going about with Finn, right? She spent a lot of time with Finn. And then by the end, I think she kind of saved Finn's life. That was her only contribution. That was her only contribution. For the rest of the movie, it was just she was just tagging along. That's all she was. I'm sorry. I don't mean I'm not saying that to poo-poo her. I'm just saying that other than that one moment at the end where she kind of put herself in between, I think, Finn and the other vehicle. I gotta rewatch it again. Other than that, she did not really do much, or she didn't contribute much to the universe. And partly you can blame that probably on Ryan Johnson's writing. You know, I always say that Ryan Johnson is stronger when he's dealing with the material that he created his own, like Knives Out or Brick. Um, so Rose did not leave much impact, even in Last Jedi. Even in Last Jedi. So I I think Chris Terrio with this explanation about, oh, we want to have Rose spend time with Leia. I gotta call. A nice try though. But do any of you really believe his explanation? Because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Carrie Fisher's daughter, Billy Lord, she's in the movie, right? She's in the movie. She's been in the movie, Billy Lord. Um, there's also other characters surrounding Leia. Greg Grunberg, the big guy who ended up flying X Fighter and died in this one. Dominic Monaghan, as I said. So you have all these people. So the excuse, like, oh, we want to have Leia spending time with Rose. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. You got Billy Lord, you got Greg Grunberg, Dominic Monaghan, you got all these people. Really, really. So I think though, if they'll never admit this. J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio will never admit this, but my theory or my guess, my speculation is that they don't know. They don't know how to incorporate Kelly Marie Tran's character Rose in this final installment. They just because Ryan that the inclusion or the casting of Kelly Marie Tran, that was Ryan Johnson's idea. The Last Jedi's creation. That's Rose was made for that one. You know, and then J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio came in after Lucasfilm fired or parted ways, I should say, with Colin Trevorrow. Remember, Colin Trevorrow was supposed to be the the initial director and writer of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, but he left with Derek Connolly. His So anyway, long story short, so J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio came in and it's like, whoa, how do we tie this up? How do we tie this up? And so they try to put the strings, connect one dot to the next. Like I said, in my review. All right, so we're gonna answer Ray's lineage, and then we're gonna have Finn do this, and then and and then once they stand back, once they stand back and look at the whole board, they're like, whoa, there's this one person, Kelly Marie Tran, and they're like, how do we fit her in? How do we fit her into this? They couldn't. I bet you that's why they just couldn't. They just don't know how, because Kelly Marie Tran's Rose Tico was not the creation of J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. Do you see what I'm saying? It? Do you see what I'm getting at? So it's not cool that they bench her that way. I wish her role was more significant than that. But at the same time, can you blame JJ and Chris Terrio completely for that? I don't know, man. Again, you got to see this objectively. I have fellow critics and press people, Asian in the Asian community, who are really furious about this latest comment by Chris Terrio. Oh, you suck! No, there's no whatever, man. You should have done this to Kelly Tran or Rose, or give her, or have her hang out with Finn again. Yeah, I think there could be 1,001 possibilities of other ways that they could have gone with Kelly Marie Tran, Rose Tico, other than sidelining her. Yes, give her that. But I don't really want to blame J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio completely on that, at least for me. With that said, I do find it. What's the word I'm looking for here? Disappointing, or maybe appalled, because I saw a video of J.J. Abrams at a press conference for Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, and Kelly Marie Tran was there, sitting down with JJ and the rest of the cast. And JJ said to the moderator, one of the things that I loved, because, he was asked about how did you build upon what Ryan Johnson created in The Last Jedi? How did you expand on that? And then JJ Abrams said, one of the things that I loved about what Ryan Johnson created or did with The Last Jedi was that he cast Kelly Marie Tran as Rose Tico. And then the camera pan on Kelly Marie Tran, blowing kisses to J.J. Abrams, because she was sitting kind of distance away from him. And so everybody laughed. I mean, not laughed, applaud. Everybody applauded. Like, whoa, what a great comment. Good on you, J.J. Abrams. And then I saw the movie, and then I was like, wow, that was not cool of J.J. Abrams to do that. And you know what? Good on Kelly Marie Tran too for playing cool about it. I don't know. If I were her, I'd probably be like pissed. I wouldn't probably. I probably would not be attending the press conference. So knowing that I don't have a lot of scenes, and for him to act, J.J. Abrams pretty much pretended like, yeah, I appreciate Ryan Johnson for creating Kelly Marie Tran. How awesome is that? But you know what? I bench her the entire movie. Yeah. Do you see what I'm getting at there? It's not really a compliment when the result or the fact is you don't really, or at least the optic is that you don't appreciate Kelly Marie Tran. You're saying it with your mouth to the public press conference. Yeah, I love Kelly Marie Tran's Rose, and that's why we sideline her. Some love, man. Some love you're showing there. So it's not cool of J.J. Abrams to do that. And I wish that they had not. I mean, it's just me. I wish that they had not invited Kelly Marie Tran to do all these press conference, press promo tour, because it's not cool misleading the fans and the press and the public into thinking that Kelly Marie Tran may have a big role in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker when in fact she doesn't. You know what I'm saying? It's not cool to play her like that. Like she's a prop. And I don't know, I feel bad for her. So I'm sure that she is under contract like everybody else is, right? They're not going to be able to spill the beans. I'm sure years from now, if any of them, the cast members, would write some kind of a quintessential memoir or biography, tell all book, then we'll know for sure exactly what happened behind the scenes. Maybe Kelly Marie Tran has a memoir. It's like, oh, let me tell you guys exactly what happened. But for now, everybody's just like, all smiles, like, oh yeah, I love the fact that Ryan Johnson cast Kelly Marie Tran. Everybody's like that right now. And it's gonna be like that for a while. Uh, from them, you're not gonna get the whole truth. And this is the best as you're gonna get. Chris Terrio's explanation in Awards Daily. Oh yeah, we wanted to put Rose with Leia. That's the best explanation that you're gonna get for now, for the foreseeable future. Um, Lastly, to the argument out there, one of the backlash, right? One of the furies from the fans is like, God, Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker, what are you doing? You gave in to the trolls, man. Okay, what they mean by that, in 2017, do you remember after The Last Jedi came out, there's a bunch of fans, a bunch of haters. They they didn't like, I guess, Rose Tico character for racist purposes. So they started flooding Kelly Marie Tran's social media with hate stuff, to the point where Kelly Marie Tran had to shut down her Instagram and Twitter account. Um, so the argument right now is like, why did you give in to the trolls? You're sidelining her. You're basically giving in to the trolls or the haters who don't want to see her at all. You give them a victory by not, letting her be seen in the movie. Um, I could see that as somewhat an acceptable argument, but that I think JJ and Cristerio just did not know how to incorporate Rose Tico in the script. So it's not so much about, oh my God, it's not that J.J. Abrams and Cristerio are snowflakes. It's like, oh, we don't want to piss off the right wing trolls who hate an Asian character in Star Wars. I doubt it. I doubt it. I don't think that. I It's sad that that's the optic, or one of the optics that came out of this whole Rose being sidelined. But I don't think at the heart of it that is the reason why J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio sidelined it. Again, I would like to believe it's because um, they wanted to finish the story, they wanted to finish the saga, but they just don't know how to put Rose, or yeah, place her strategically in the story that they want to have for this final installment. Which leads me to my final point. It would have been best. It would have been best if J.J. Abrams had handled the entire trilogy without skipping a beat. I think it was somewhat of a mistake to have Ryan Johnson came in and just, do his whole Last Jedi. Whether or not you like The Last Jedi, that's another topic for another time, right? That's a whole other video. But because of this Ryan Johnson's Last Jedi, you have Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker. Both movies are J.J. Abrams' tone, right? And then in the middle of it is this, it's like a lump. That's so the whole trilogy, the arc, episode 7, 8, and 9, they're disjointed. Instead of one flow of great, similar tone, you got this bump. And if J.J. Abrams had handled the entire trilogy, it would not have been that way. It may not have been a perfect trilogy, right? J.J. Abrams is not the perfect storyteller. He's a fantastic storyteller, but he's not perfect. But it would not have been as disjointed as it is. I'm talking about the trilogy, episodes 7, 8, and 9. So it would have been best if J.J. Abrams had handled the whole thing without skipping a beat. Yes, you might argue, like, if J.J. Abrams had done The Last Jedi or Episode 8, he probably would not have cast Kelly Marie Tran. That's a possibility. We may not have Kelly Marie Tran at all if J.J. Abrams had handled Episode 8. Um, but it would, but we would have a more coherent storyline, a more full arc, instead of a Rise of Skywalker that I'm sure you've seen the movie, right? Rise of Skywalker, 80% of it was just trying to close whatever loopholes that the last Jedi left behind. A lot of these stuffs that were not settled or taken care of. Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, 80% of its job was just to answer to The Last Jedi. Get it? Instead of it being a three trilogy. So yeah, that's my final point. It's unfortunate. And it's unfortunate. I feel really bad for Kelly Marie Tran. She's going around now doing press tour, giving smiles. I'm sure deep down, if I were Kelly Marie Tran, I'd be feeling a little hurt, like, oh, my contract required me to be all smiles and shaking hands and answering questions, but I'm barely in the movie. But I'm contractually obligated to do these rounds. So I feel really bad for her. I wish the best for her career. I hope that other studios or other projects in Hollywood would notice her and cast her. It's tough for Asian American actors out there, though, in Hollywood, unless you unless you are good at martial arts, unless you're Donnie Yen doing Ip Man movies. Um, Robert's like, the original trilogy had three different directors too. That's right. That's right. Three different directors too. But I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe George Lucas had um, a big involvement in the storylines for all three movies, if I'm not correct, if I'm not mistaken, right? Whereas the Last Jedi, um, the last Jedi was Ryan Johnson, writer and director Ryan Johnson. I think the original trilogy, yes, there's different. Oh god, the late great Irwin. Well, anyway, yes, different directors, but George Lucas produced. Either he co-wrote or had a story idea by it. So Lucas had his handprint or fingerprint on all of them. Um, James Marks, she shouldn't complain. Her career's going good, and she got a good paycheck from Star Wars. That's one of the bright side or silver lining that you could probably suggest to Kelly Marie Tran. You know, hey, you get paid well for not doing much, right? How many jobs can you say out there that like you don't have to work a lot and you get paid a lot? That must be nice. I read somewhere that Daisy Ridley got paid $500,000 for The Force Awakens, and then of course they got pay increase, into the millions in the Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker. So imagine Erwin Kershner. That's right, Erwin Kershner, Richard Marquand. That's right. I was like, Erwin, what? Erwin, thank you. But yeah, back. So yeah, you could say like Kelly. There's on the upside, you get paid a lot to do nothing, man. But I you know what, James Marks, the devil's advocate argument for that, or the counter argument for that, is like it's not fulfilling. If you're an actor and you start out doing much in The Last Jedi, and then all of a sudden you get sidelined in Rise of Skywalker, that no matter like if you get paid millions of dollars, that would kind of at least hurt you a little bit. If not ego, at least it'll hurt you in the sense of being an artist. You have this like, oh, I have this responsibility in The Last Jedi, and now all of a sudden I don't have any responsibility at all in Rise of Skywalker. Yes, I get paid millions of dollars, but this kind of sucks. So Robert says they better leave my girl Kelly alone. So yeah, I hope she gets a good gig. It's tough for Asian American actors. Who knows? Maybe she'll show up in Crazy Rich Asians too, right? Constance Wu is making big time in Hollywood. She's showing up everywhere, so that's good. Aquafina is like the it comedy girl now. She got nominated for Golden Globe as well for Farewell. So there's like one or two, three Asians sometimes will pop up where they don't do martial arts stuff and they are doing okay. But majority, generally, Asian American actors generally have a hard time uh, finding gigs in Hollywood. Substantive roles. So hopefully, John Cho, yeah, John Cho's doing well as well. Thank God for Star Trek franchise and searching. So yeah, you can name one or two, three over there. Henry Golding, um, but it it's still tough. It's still tough for Asian actors out there. But hopefully, Kelly Marie Tran can land on her feet because she deserves it, man. She deserves it. I only wish for good things on her. And so yeah, that's my long thoughts about this latest statement by Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker co-screenwriter Chris Terrio. I'm not buying that whole. Oh, we want to put Rose and Leia together. Really, you got Billy Lord there. You can have Billy Lord with Leia. Okay, you have Greg Grunberg and Dominic Monaghan hang out with Leia. They just didn't know. They just didn't know what to do with Leia, and it's this Ryan Johnson's creation, and they're like, "Oh snap!" So it would have been best if J.J. Abrams had written and directed the whole trilogy, just like he did the first one. BS on that. But that's the best. That's the best you're gonna get for now, as far as explanation or damage control goes. At least until in the future, when any of the cast members, including Kelly Marie Tran, writes a memoir, a tell-all book. Until then, this is as good as we're gonna get, unfortunately. So yeah, that's it. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts down below about this topic. Thank you so much for tuning in and talking with me here. James Mark says, I know, but she wasn't the most liked character. It's not her fault. It's how they wrote her. Yeah, yeah. It's hard to follow the original trilogy. It was so good. Yeah, yeah. That's another topic for another video. I think this trilogy 7, 8, 9 episodes 8, 7, 8, 9 had a lot of problems. They had a lot of problems. Um, and I don't blame my fellow Star Wars fans who are angry with this trilogy. Um, They say like, oh, they ruined Star Wars. I don't know if I want to go as far as that, but episode 7, 8, and 9 are very problematic. So yeah, it is hard to follow the original trilogy. That's true, definitely. So share your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you guys think about this whole Kelly Marie Tran roast Tico controversy? What do you think about the explanation from Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker screenwriter? Do you think the explanation is sufficient enough, or do you call it BS? Um, Robert says, "I want to see deleted scenes with Carrie and Kelly Tran." Oh, I don't know about deleted scenes though, because from the explanation, it sounds like we try to make it work the scenes, but they just couldn't. Because the technology of trying to blend Kelly with this previous unused footage of Carrie Fisher. Most of the footage is just Carrie Fisher spewing fortune cookie words. So I don't know if there is a deleted scene of them two, but that would be very interesting. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks so much for tuning in with me tonight, midnight. I'm gonna go sleep now because I gotta work tomorrow morning. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, James. And everybody subscribe to my channel, press that like button, ring that bell. And if you can help support me, just like Robert does, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. Take care, Robert. Take care, everybody. Let's rock this.